Hello, welcome to the lesson intro video for Unit 7, Lesson 2, The Modern History of Australia and the Pacific. Here are our objectives, standards, and focus question. European exploration of the Pacific. Europeans began exploring the Pacific in the 1500s. In the 1640s, the Dutch became the first Europeans to reach Australia and New Zealand. In 1769, British sailor James Cook sailed to New Zealand and a year later to Australia. He claimed both for Britain. News of his voyages increased European travel to the region. Here you can pause to read more about his explorations. British settlement of Australia. In 1788, the British sent ships to Australia to establish Sydney. Of the 1,000 people on the ships, 730 were convicts. They were sent to create a penal colony, a place where convicted prisoners went for punishment. They were forced to work and built the first buildings of the colony. Britain used Australia as a penal colony into the 1800s. Here you can pause to look at a timeline of European exploration and colonization of Australia and New Zealand. Treatment of Aboriginal peoples. The British drove many Aboriginal people off of their lands. Some tried to resist, but many ended up dying from disease. The British practiced forced assimilation, which is the process by which one group takes on the cultural traits of another. Children were often taken from their families and they forced them to live in institutions or with white families, and this continued into the 1960s. Because of these practices, many Aboriginal languages and practices have been lost. King Werawero. He was the Maori king and was descendant of the original Polynesians who settled New Zealand. He was a famous and fierce warrior, leading several battles against rival Maori tribes. He wrote to Britain's Queen Victoria in 1874, protesting the loss of Maori land. He acted as a mediator and negotiator for the Maori and the British. He agreed to become the first king of the Maori in 1858 to help protect the Maori land from the British. Here we can see a chart of European colonization of Australia and the Pacific. It shows the colony that they were colonized by, the year they were colonized, and the year they became independent. Independence. Australia was the first nation in the region to leave British rule for independence in 1901. New Zealand followed shortly after in 1907. Today, the two nations belong to the British Commonwealth of Nations, which includes 51 former British colonies. Other nations in the region took longer to become independent. American Samoa, Guam, and the Northern Mariana Islands remain dependencies of the United States. That is, they are self-governing territories but are controlled by the government of another nation.